Hello everyone, welcome to PaperDaisyJournals. It's Kylie. I'm here to do a flip through of a journal that I've just finished. It is a single signature and I've used a really beautiful doily as the front cover. I've lined the front cover with antique French linen just to give it a softer feel, because sometimes when you have thin cotton fabric on the cardboard lining, it sort of tends to feel, it has a different feel. And I wanted it to sort of feel softer, so I did that extra layer. I've used a snippet of beautiful floral fabric as the focus, and down the bottom here I've just stitched on a really beautiful French charm, antique French charm, and a little snippet from an embroidered doily. So that's the front cover. That also hangs over quite a bit along the edge, which I really like. It gives that sort of shabby look to the journal. The journal inside has a very grungy sort of antique theme, and I've got a big broderie on glaze pocket inside the front cover on that side. Here I've got beautiful antique French lace with a crochet snippet and an old button that I've sewn on, and that's on an original document. This is a library book card that you would stick in the front of your book, and some lace at the top just for that layered look. With all of my paper clips, I have just stitched on the lace and just tied a little knot. So I've used a needle. I've sort of sewn one stitch and tied it, and that's how all of the lace is stuck to the end of the paper clip. There is a tuck spot on this side as well. This is an original French horticulture tag, and I've just popped that in a beautiful shabby looking pocket, just a snippet from a doily and an old hat pin that I've just woven through there, and I love how grungy that looks. This is one of my favorite antique French documents. It is for fabric, I'm pretty sure, and it's very hard for me to part with this, but I have used it in one of my grungy antique kits, so it is immortalized and I can let it go. I have a little tab on the edge here with tea stained sari trim, a little piece of French trim, and a rusted safety pin with a little bead. I will link the Etsy shop that I get all of my rusted pieces from. I am based in Australia, if you can't tell from my accent, but I do actually get my rusted pieces from a shop on Etsy, and I would definitely link that because Kathy is just brilliant at rusting things. Yes, I live on the Australian coast. Yes, I probably could rust things myself by literally just putting stuff outside, but the way that Kathy does it, I've got kilner jars full of her beautiful rusted pieces. I can't get enough of them, and I will be using them a lot in my journal, so I would definitely link her shop in the description. This is just tea stained paper with stitching around the edge. Here is one of the rusted bulldog clips, and I've just put a little bell at the top there for a little jingly sound. And I have collaged some tags out of all original pieces, and also some embossed paper, so I've tucked that in on the top there. This is some lofta or handmade Nepalese paper, just for that beautiful texture, and I just punched an eyelet through there and just wove a little piece of antique lace at the top. This is a printed piece from one of my kits I've used as a postcard. Here I've stitched on a really beautiful old, I think it was theatre ticket, to some really beautiful lace to make a pocket, and just add a little bit of layering and structure. This is some beautiful dyed cotton paper, cotton rag paper. So this could be used as an art journal because a lot of the pages are quite thick. A little snippet of bits and pieces and another one of those decorated paper clips. I've used some pages from antique embroidery magazines. That's another postcard from one of my kits, and I've just used the antique pages printable on the back, so it looks tea stained, but that's actually printed. Some pieces of ephemera, so a piece from a diary and a collage piece there, and I've just sort of used zigzag stitch to hold on that piece of lace, but to add interest as well, and that's snipped in. Pinned in, I should say, snipped in. A bit too much snipping going on. Collage there on a brown paper bag, and I just love that sort of crinkly feel, and it also acts as a pocket. I find when I use paper bags in journals, I always like to have a little bit of structure on the front so that it's not too floppy, and if you do put something inside, it's not going to just fly out. A beautiful snippet of fabric there just for some sort of hidden journaling, and I've stitched on some fabric with a little button. Here I've used an old curtain ring, a copper curtain ring with some gorgeous trim that I've just woven some ribbon through, and this is another collaged journaling card. I have used a old bus ticket underneath there, so it is a little bit delicate. In the middle here, I have taken the top off this envelope so it can be used as a pocket, but I've stuck that image of this woman with a library card inside, and I've actually bound the journal and then sealed the envelope so the strings are inside the envelope. So if you don't like signature strings, that's a really cool way of sort of hiding them, but also adding some journaling space as well. And just at the top here, I've got a really beautiful old French, it's sort of like a copper flowers that I've stitched on to some beautiful trim. Another journaling card just tucked in there. That is, I think, a fragrance label, an antique fragrance label, and I've just popped it inside an original envelope, and I've used some old document as almost like washi tape, so I've stuck it on the inside and on the outside so it becomes like a flip down. Could easily pin that there and use that as a double pocket as well. I only thought of that after I finished the journal, of course. So here is a tea-stained paper doily and just a little vintage envelope with some beautiful lace and washi, and inside I've got some little antique and vintage tickets. I don't often do little things like this because I find them quite fiddly, and I feel very uncoordinated making small things, but every now and then it's good to challenge yourself. I really love this trim. I love the tassels. It's antique, it's French, it's gorgeous, and it just sticks out beautifully from the side of the journal. This is the other side of the brown paper bag, and as you can see, I have put on an old postcard and made that into a pocket, and I just stapled across the top to make a little sort of feature on top of the postcard. Here's a piece of old receipt, and I've just used that as a pocket for a couple of pieces of ephemera. A tab with a sewn on button, small little snippets, and a beautiful piece of trim with some sari threaded through. Here I've just stapled in an old ticket, and that's a piece of antique French document with some trim at the top. And I've just stuck that in that pocket with a little piece of fabric. Another gorgeous pocket full of bits and pieces, so original. Everything I think in this journal, aside from the printed pages, is original. That sounds funny. Anyway, I'm having one of those days. I'm very proud of myself filming today because I'm feeling very discombobulated. A lacy pocket, and here I've just used a safety pin, and I've pinned a beautiful mother of pearl bead and a piece of snippet onto the side of that pocket as a little feature, and a tag at the top and a tab at the top, and I've just stitched on a button. And here on the side I've actually literally just pinned a little snippet of sari, a beautiful piece of lace which is a rose, an old button, and that's just pinned on. It can easily be taken off. And at the top here, just for something to sort of hang over the top, I've got a little piece of very old lace, and I've just hand stitched that on with old French thread, and I just have a little gold bead, flower bead at the top there. So that hangs over the top of the journal beautifully. I've used a brad just to create a tuck spot, and that's an old library card, and I've just used some beautiful tatting lace along the top there, and that just sort of sticks in there. And I've just got a piece of lace hanging down there. So very simple decoration, but really beautiful layering. And a nice big pocket at the back of the journal as well. So that is the flip through. And thank you for watching. Yeah, it's just one of those days for me, but I've ticked another thing off my list and I'm feeling very proud of myself. So if you are perimenopausal like me and you have these days and you get at least one thing done that you wanted to, good for you. Well done. I'm right there with you. Thanks for watching. Bye.